Kagurabachi 116 is misogynist, according to the crazy part of the fandom. And by crazy part of the fandom, I mean one guy on Twitter. Yeah, not really much to go off, but still, it's crazy. I don't know, I feel like some Kagurabachi fans have this obsession with Hokuzono just hating women. I don't know why. But we're doing this in a chapter, the first chapter where we're ever introduced to Chihiro's mum, Chiaki Soga, the princess, and the one who sits at the top of the Soga clan, Japan's most prolific sorcery family. So not only is she sitting at the top of pretty much the sorcery world, but this is the first chapter we're seeing her, but nope, we've stopped and we've gone, well, her whole character so far is just that she has a crush on a boy, so... Bruv. The entire story, yeah, is about Chihiro. The main character. This is Chihiro's mum. His dad is Kunishige. Now, I don't know if anyone ever taught you about, like, you know, the birds and the bees and stuff. In order to create a child, you need to have a girl and the guy who like each other and do things, right? So I don't know what you were expecting, but the one thing we knew we were definitely going to be getting in this flashback is that Kunishige and Chiaki would fall in love and do shenanigans. Do you know what? I'm moving on. I don't even know. I've spent too long talking about this already. I needed to say it. Pissed me off. It doesn't make any sense. But for the sane people amongst you, I'm going to run through the chapter very quickly, and then I'm just going to go straight into Theory Town because, there's some crazy stuff in here. So we start off, we see Chiaki, all right? And immediately the crazy stuff is very visible in that she looks obviously just like Chihiro, but also just like Soga, and also kind of like Yura, and she's got the same kind of eyes as young Yura, and she's got the same markings under her eyes as Yura, and she's got the same hair parting as Yura. I think you get the point, but we'll come back to that, right? She's woken up. She's actually a girl who was from, you know, a very kind of irrelevant little stretch of the Soga clan family, but she happened to manifest this generational ability of prophecy, of future sight, which, yes, I know, and again, it ties to Yura, but just chill, we'll come back to that. It's kind of like Gojo, right? She was born as just like a random in the clan, manifested this ability, it comes once every generation, and that person with the prophecy ability sits atop the Soga clan, so she was made the Princess Chiaki. Her brother, who is 16, is now obviously, you know, probably, I mean, it said he's commander level. I don't know what that means, but he's a very strong and up and coming swordsman. They're both doing very well for themselves. Their mum's very happy. It's all good. She does prophecy things, predicts earthquakes and stuff, and she's the one who found the Daten-seki. She told them about it, you know, when it popped up. She also got her abilities. They manifested about 2 years ago at the same time that the island came up, so I don't know if there's a link there. But yeah, every once in a while, the Soga clan will basically invite a load of the other clans in Japan, and they'll come and sit and listen to the prophecy stuff, kind of like a weather forecast. We see the Sazanami clan, we see the government also pull up as well, the Sorcery Bureau, who apparently only exist because of the Soga clan, and a load of other clans that we haven't heard of before. And we see a young Kiora as well, but we also see someone else, all right? No, I'm not talking about Gakuganji over there. I'm talking about this little hunchback dude with a mask who you can just barely make out looks a lot like Kudo. Now, I don't know if you've been following me and my Kagurabachi madness, but I'm still sus of Kudo. But that looks like Kudo to me. He's hunched over, he's got the hair, he's got the mask. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They pull up, she'll give a prophecy, whatever, right? So she tells them several people from the island are going to be pulling up to Yurakuhama Beach, which I'm guessing, it means joyful beach, or pleasure beach, I think is what it translates to. I'm guessing Yura at the beginning of that is just a coincidence, but I don't know when it comes to Hokuzono, you get me? But yeah, they're gonna pull up, and then, well, what they did is deliver a letter saying, yo, our royal family wants to chat with you guys, and that's exactly what she predicts, is that a ship later on will arrive bearing the royal family. That all happens, we see the other clans, it's very cool. I hope we get into more of that stuff later. And then we kind of just see the dynamic between Chiaki and her mum, who's very, like, proud of her and all that. I think she's enjoying her life as a higher up in the clan now. But the second Chiaki expresses any interest at all in finding Kunishige or being around Kunishige, and the fact that she sat there blushing over the thought of Kunishige makes her mum crash out, because she's like, no, he's a peasant, irrelevant. No, you're big time now. You can't be dealing with all that. So yeah, Chiaki has a responsibility to fulfill, and she can't chase after her little crush. And we get this amazingly adorable panel of just like proper baby, like toddler, not toddler, but like child, Shiba, Azami, Kunishige, and Chiaki, who are the neighborhood kids, right? And they just used to sit around and play, which is really cool. It makes me wonder if Soga, not Soga, I mean the Soga estate as a clan, I imagine the Soga estate is a big area that has a lot of people who are some way related to or have a service to provide the Soga clan. as, you know, big clan estates kind of tend to do. So I'm guessing is that, like, Shiba obviously isn't blood related to Soga's, but his family or his lineage are the guardians of the Soga clan. I'm guessing the reason Azami is there is because his family are the doctors of the Soga clan, right? Kunoshige, God knows, I don't know. He feels like Loki feels like a street rat, you know, like a little peasant boy who just runs around and makes swords. I don't know. And then Chiaki used to go out and play, you know, back when she was a nobody, and then she became important, and they don't really do that anymore. Anyway, we see a panel of Soga here, which perfectly mirrors when he used the butterfly in his fight against Chihiro. He looks a lot younger. He's got the same kind of eyes. He's got that same hair parting. Still think he looks like Yura. I'm gonna talk about that more in a second. He's training with, I don't know, his master or whatever, trying to get into the Royal Guard to defend Chiaki. He's not old enough, but he is skilled enough. That's pretty much the gist of it. But he seems chill. I don't know, like his sister's like, hey, yo, stop training so hard. And he's like, okay, whatever. They seem like, he doesn't seem like a genocidal maniac, you know? But yeah, they kind of like go through all of that. Chiaki blushes at the thought of Kunoshige. We do get a very important piece of information that the prophecies she gets comes in the form of like vivid images in her dreams, but sometimes it can be hard to distinguish between like what's real and what isn't, even though most of the time it is clear. It's like she gets freeze frames, not full videos, right? Which obviously there would need to be some kind of restriction like that, because otherwise I've got to sit here and ask like, why is she not predicting the malediction when I mean, maybe she did, and Kunoshige is a much worse person than we thought, or Chiaki was a much worse person than we thought. But obviously there are things that happen in the future that's like, how does Chiaki not predict this, you know? And how does she end up with Kunoshige and such? But yeah, anyway, we cut back to Kunoshige and Shiba sitting in their cell. Shiba's going on about how like he can sneak another letter to Chiaki because he uses his teleporting to just bring secret love letters between Kunoshige and Chiaki. Kunoshige don't want to do that though, because it would just get her in trouble. He just wants to live by the sword or whatever nerd shit he's yapping on about. But Shiba here is just so funny though. He looks like when when Senku has like a crazy idea that puts everyone's life at risk. He looks like that. That's what he looks like. But yeah, anyway, Subaru then comes in, offers him some Subaru special rice balls and says, hey, yo, bruv, stay around here for a minute. We'll have a little chat and I'll feed you. But the chapter then ends with a panel we've seen many times before of the islanders pulling up with their weird black mist. They deliver a message saying, we want you guys to meet our royal family. And it's written in Japanese, which is a very important point here, which means most likely either they have Japanese people living with them or they already have people who have infiltrated Japan and reported. They know the language somehow, basically. And then this is when things get a bit out of control. Page ends with this really nice panel, the full page panel of a meeting point on a beach set under a big pine tree. Which, yeah, so the theory there is this somehow relates to Pine Tree Sorcerer, Hatshaku, who, if you've been tapped in, you guys should know this guy is way more important than he makes out to be. I would not be surprised if he's the actual leader of the Hishaku. I would not be surprised if he's co-leader. It's like, you know how, okay, if Yura is meant to be kind of the pain, right? Because I know, listen, Hokuzono loves his Naruto. If Yura is meant to be the pain, and he is technically the leader, just like Pain was technically the leader of the Akatsuki, I think. He was the leader of the Akatsuki, right? Whatever, he filled that role for a while, but realistically, the big bad was actually Tobi, yeah? It could be a similar kind of situation, but he feels like more of a Zetsu character, be real. I just gotta say, I've been saying it for so long, the pine trees are so important. I don't know if it's because of Hatshaku or Hatshaku is because of the pine trees, if that makes sense, but the pine trees are everywhere. Chapter 1, first location we fight in, first Hishaku member we see is Hatshaku with his pine tree sorcery in a location with pine trees outside. First big like panel of the Japan skyline, pine trees on the roof, Samura's garden, pine trees, Bloodshed Hotel, pine trees. Like, there are pine trees littered all over this manga, and it is not a coincidence. They are in every important location. All of them. I'm telling you, there's no coincidence. The pine trees have always been important. This should not surprise anybody. I don't know what we're doing with it, because Hokuzono is not predictable in that way. I don't know how important Hatshaku's gonna be, how he's gonna factor into it. I don't know if he's an islander, if he's on our side. I don't know what's going on, but the pine trees are important. That's all I have to say on it. And then there's the Yura thing. Obviously, Yura and Chiaki, same marks. They look very similar. Now, I used to believe, because of the way that they have such solid parallels, like their hair is parted the same way, their face is the same shape, their eyes when they were younger are literally the exact same, and then their eyes later on when they become corrupted are the exact same. They pull the same stance. Like, there are obvious appearance parallels between Yura and Soga, right? And so everyone was like, well, not everyone, but I was like, oh my god, they definitely know each other. They're probably related. They could both be from the island. Yura could be from the island, like all kinds of stuff, right? And then we got hit with the Yura talking to Soga as if they've never spoken before and never met. And then we got the Yura flashback of him just being a civilian living in what seems to be maybe a war zone. It's before the malediction, and he supposedly saw the malediction, so maybe it was on the island. I don't know. There's things to be interpreted from that. But yeah, he didn't seem like he knew Soga at all. And now I'm low-key thinking that was a red herring in itself, because their appearance does look remarkably similar. Chiaki now has the same kind of appearance, and it just makes me wonder, like, they don't necessarily have to know each other, but they could still be related, right? That flashback of Yura tells us nothing. We know nothing. What we do know about Yura, besides just appearance, is that he also keeps going on about prophecies and fortune telling, right? That's his whole gimmick. So either he has a fortune telling ability of his own, and he's secretly a woman in the Soga clan or something. That would be a crazy plot twist, that Yura's a woman. But either it's something like that, and he has a prophecy ability of his own because he's related to the Soga clan or whatever. Or Chiaki is alive. Or Chihiro's mom is alive, and she's the one who's giving the prophecies to Yura. I don't know, there's so many avenues for this to go down here, but I'm telling you, Yura is no random stranger, and neither is Hatshaku, alright? There's no way. They're tied to the Soga clan or the island, or there's something. There's something sus going on here, alright? Fuck it, bro. Maybe Yura is Chihiro's mom. Maybe that is actually the case. I don't know. I'm gonna just let Hokuzono cook. I like this chapter though. I think the Kudo, I mean, I might be looking into that, but the Kudo thing is kind of cool. The clan thing is very cool. Seeing the kids was cool. The thing I want to make very clear, everyone thinks that Hokuzono's taken his time with this. He's not. We've had 4 chapters of Seitei War Flashback. They've covered a different thing every single chapter. Nothing has been the same. We've not stayed in one place covering one topic for more than a chapter. It's deceptively quick. It is fast paced, right? We are covering so much in one chapter. So much information dropped in one chapter. 4 chapters in, and we've done 4 different key, things. We're not staying on anything for more than a chapter. I know it seems slow because there's no fighting and action and it's all, conversation and talk in the same location, but the way that we're switching up between it's fast. It is fast. It literally objectively is. I don't know, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. I don't have anything more to say than that. It just confuses me. I don't know. I love this series. Subscribe.